Well then, now it's time to look at the series cap, Diversity 3, released for version 1.13.2 on October 28th, 2018, directed by QMagnet, again, and developed by several returning developers from Diversity 2, and several contributors to round to 9 developers. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this map is continuing to receive updates. So, to clarify, I will be playing on Diversity 3 version 1.3.4. Your version might be different. Anyways, running the map. Whoa. So, we're immediately blown away by one of the map's major themes. Its massive scope. I swear, everything in this map is bigger in one way or another, for better or for worse. You follow a path to a house where you are greeted with another one of the map's major themes. Polish. I mean, look at this. You've got custom paintings, books that are actually on the table instead of a chest. You can even find a working mirror. Okay, it's technically a zombie reflection, but it still follows your movements throughout, so it's still very cool. Anyways, you do some minor puzzle solving by exploring the house, like the iconic diversity circle, and you are thrown into the map's awesome hub world. You take the white wool, place it in the chest, and an incredibly smooth wool display animation plays out. Now, this intro sequence is awesome, but it has some gross parts. Firstly, the house puzzles are cool, short, and sweet, but can be confusing, thus forcing the player to spend more time than needed before you really start the map. Oh well, other than that, the introduction is great. This hub is massive. It takes a bit to go to the branch you want to go to, sure, but even then they somehow made the hub even better. Instead of the monument and branches being separate rooms, we get a set of floating islands, one for each branch, surrounding a central island containing the monument. Probably the largest improvement from Diversity 2's hub is how you go to each branch. Instead of simply walking into a teleporter to enter the branch, you must complete a small challenge themed to the specific branch you wish to go to in order to access the teleporter. For the parkour branch, you do some parkour. For the puzzle branch, you solve a puzzle. For the boss battle branch, you must solve every other branch in order to proceed. Wait, what? Yeah, Diversity 3 takes some liberties with the traditional Diversity formula. As previously stated, you must complete every other branch to fight the boss and earn the black wool. This is weird because I'm used to being able to choose what order I do the branches. Why limit the order in this way? Also, to my knowledge, they removed the freebie room. Thankfully, this is compensated by easier branches. Finally, probably the greatest thing Diversity has ever done since improving the maze branch in Diversity 2, they added advancements. They are split up into 3 pages, one for completion, one for challenges, and one for secrets. This officially means that this map has more replay value than Diversity 2. Thank God. Now let's look at the core branches. Entering the orange wool branch, we are immediately thrown into loud noises. This is annoying. Thank God it's over quickly. You are then tasked to shut on the backup generators to turn on the power. Then you help a professor reprogram a door so he isn't locked in. Then you go to the supposed leader of the space station to get promoted. Then you suit up to do a spacewalk to the communication tower, and if you haven't picked up already, the branch has a science fiction theme and it is overly linear. The sci-fi elements are very well done and complement the story. Speaking of which, the story is a good old-fashioned QMagnet story. What I mean by that is that said story is simple, but sweet and serious enough to give you a reason to do certain actions, while mashing in classic Diversity style humor that I always like to see. As for gameplay, as stated before, it's very linear. This is the reason why I was kinda disappointed by this branch. I know it would be extremely hard to follow up Diversity 2's almost perfect adventure branch, but this is just meh. The whole thing equates to doing some random task for somebody who would then tell you to go see someone else, then they will promote you so you can pass through higher level doors, and then the whole thing repeats. Sure, there are some genuinely great moments, such as the first time you step out into space, or reconnecting the system in the communication tower, but ultimately, I just didn't like the gameplay that much. But this branch does one thing that I wish Diversity 2's Orange Wool branch did: multiple endings. There is a good ending and a bad ending. To my knowledge, the bad ending just ends the branch without further explanation, but the good ending gives you the last puzzle piece of the story. For its mediocre gameplay but technical polish, great story, and multiple endings, this branch gets a 6 out of 10. Out of curiosity, I looked up a speedrunning guide for this map in the 100% category, to which the guide listed this branch as hell. And to that I say, that's pretty accurate. The branch is split up into 3 rounds, each with a boss fight at the end. And the third branch especially, why evokers? Oh my god, these Vexes are so annoying! Sometimes you feel like you're in a pinball machine rather than an arena. Okay, so what does this branch do well? This branch gets currency and upgrades right. For every enemy you kill, you earn 1 unit of a scoreboard currency called Kill Cash. When you return to the shop, you can convert your score money into gold nuggets, which you use to buy weapons and armor. But if you die, you lose all of your score money, but to contrast, you don't lose your gold. Also, if you manage to craft a golden block, which takes 81 golden nuggets in total, you can purchase a smash token, which will grant you god tier items and upgrades. These range from arrows that will freeze your own opponents, an unbreakable enchanted chestplate, a dog, and so on. So at the end of each round, you are rewarded with a random item from a Mystery X character. These items are extremely helpful. I find that aspect to be objectively better than Diversity 2's arena. Also, the inclusion of bosses are great too, although they are annoying to some degree. For the overly annoying bosses in 3rd round, but the first 2 rounds and the currency system being great, this branch gets a 7 out of 10. This is the most polished green lime wool branch in the series. Not only does it have more technical polish than the previous 2, but it also just generally feels more like trivia. By that I mean the questions are more thought out but still brief, and there are 3 categories, each with 10 questions: general, technical, and community. You also get the standard "do you understand" question at the beginning, bringing the total amount of questions to 31. Another huge aspect of the trivia branches is that if you get the given question wrong, you have to do some annoying task to return. These are things you don't want to end up doing, but they aren't so annoying that you don't get overly frustrated too quickly. The branch does do that, but here they leaned a little more towards the annoying side. They're still great mostly, but these tasks are just a bit more tedious than those in Diversity 2. Because of that, I do prefer the trivia tasks in Diversity 2 over these. However, the sheer variety in these activities is something to admire. You'll be pushing zombie pigmen into a star-shaped hole with Mario insignia, chasing down glowstone, trying to find a gold block to play a note block correctly only to find out it's in your inventory, and many more. For the technical polish, great punishment, and turn down linearity, this branch earns an 8 out of 10. One thing that stuck with me when playing this branch for the first time was the direction they took it in. Instead of a modernistic style with a linear set of challenges, each level takes place in some scaled up structures like a giant Statue of Liberty, for example. You must climb around these to complete each level. It was just really off-putting because Minecraft parkour with the traditional sense isn't as common here as it usually is. It oftentimes will closer resemble the kind of parkour you go through when climbing a mountain in survival mode. But I do appreciate that they expect the player to figure out how to get to the end portal for themselves. Man, Diversity 3 can't figure out if it wants to add or break linearity, huh? My favorite level in the branch is this one. You climb up a giant beanstalk and emerge above the clouds to see a massive tribute to Diversity 1's Adventure branch, 4th wall breaking jokes and all. At the end of the whole thing, you watch 2 major contributors to the branch arguing over who should present the pink wool. Eventually, a third contributor gives you the ability to steal the wool, thus ending the branch. For its interesting direction, great level design, and general polish, this branch earns an 8 out of 10. Man, Cold Fusion Gaming did such a good job with this one. The premise is that he traps you into the Cyan dimension, that which you must, well, do what the branch's name says to do. Now, unfortunately enough, just like Diversity 2's escape branch, it is linear to the point that the escape aspect of the branch isn't as present. But even then, through short interactions with Cold Fusion, keep reminding you that you are trying to escape his creation. Speaking of which, massive scope strikes again. Once you escape the initial prison cell, just whoa. Also, the whole design of the place and his tower gives off a mysterious vibe that I think escape style gameplay segments should go for. Okay, so what is the meat of this branch? Well, it's simple. Cold Fusion puts you into a series of trials as you scale his tower. These range from solving a Hollywood puzzle of figuring out which wire to cut to stop a bomb, knocking around creepers, some water parkour, and so on. My favorite of the bunch is this Captain Toad segment where you can't jump, and you must get around by hitting switches with your bow. This branch ultimately goes for a puzzle platforming style that I love, and for that, this branch earns an 8 out of 10. Well, this branch, for the most part, is exactly what it sounds like. There are 9 levels, and that's about it. Don't get me wrong, the branch is great and the levels are distinctive, but overall, nothing isn't very noteworthy other than, well, the levels themselves. I guess you need to do some tasks for somebody for every level, but those aren't memorable either. But the levels are fun to drop through. For all the above reasons, I give this branch a 7 out of 10. Let's get this out of the way. Rest in peace, Labyrinth Branch. You will be missed. Sure, it was a little weird seeing that the purple wool was being given to a completely different genre, but the more I think about it, the more I appreciate the decisions. Mazes are hard to make fun, so why not take advantage of a new item that was on everyone's minds for the longest time? Wait, what's that? You want me to talk about Render XR's Elytra branch? Okay then. The premise is simple. There are 8 levels that you unlock after the introduction stage. Half of them are linear tunnels, and the other half are open-ended. Each level has 8 rings. When you fly through a ring, it's marked, and you get a firework. If all of the rings in a level are marked, you must go to a certain point and end the level. When all of the levels are completed, you go through one last challenge to gain the wool. The levels themselves are, surprisingly enough, very well made. It's really fun swooping in and out of rings with fireworks despite its difficulty, and if you aren't experienced with the Elytra, for its great level design, well done mechanics, and many other things, Render XR's branch earns a solid 8 out of 10. Oh my god, this is the 3rd time in a row I have no footage for the survival branch. Let's just say it's the best in the series. Well, some of the elements here are improved and some aren't. Let's see how this branch compares to the puzzle branch in Diversity 2. Improvement: the whole branch is one giant puzzle instead of a set of smaller puzzles. Downgrade: the smaller puzzles that make up the large overall puzzle are a little bit too obscure for my taste. Improvement: there are tons of variety in the puzzles, whereas those in Diversity 2 blend in. Downgrade: there doesn't appear to be a hint system. Improvement: technical polish strikes again. Improvement: almost everything. Really? Well, as it turns out, the puzzle branch here is better most of the time. However, the puzzles here are harder, and there isn't a hit system to my knowledge. But everything else here is something to love. For these reasons, I give the Red Wool branch a 7 out of 10. Spoilers, I guess? This conclusion is so good that I don't want to spoil it. I think you should experience it for yourself. I finished Diversity 3 immediately jumping back into it and starting a new playthrough. I don't know, this map is just really good. In fact, this Minecraft map rivals the quality of some fully fledged games out there in my humble opinion. That is really saying something. The Diversity Trilogy is a series that just kept getting better, and that's rare for trilogies of any kind. The original was okay for what it was, and it's okay for nostalgia factor. The sequel is amazing and is definitely worth checking out. And the threequel is even better and longer and had so much technical polish that it's honestly kind of mind-blowing in its own right. Now we can just patiently wait for Diversity 4. Except Q Magnus is retiring as a map maker and has no plans for a Diversity 4. For it to happen, the stars would have to line up in such a way that it would be unrealistic to hope in such things happening. Minecraft would have to withstand several more years of fierce competition like Fortnite, Roblox, and later on Hytale. Also, Q Magnet would have to find a different director who could carry on the specs and formula the trilogy is known for, as well as assembling a new team. It's kind of saddening seeing this legendary series ending now, but all things must come to an end. Oh well. Well then, thank you for randomly stumbling upon my video you've never heard of. If you have any other opinions on the trilogy, be sure to write them in the comments below. I'll see you on my next video.